Hey, what is going on, Frag fam? I hope you guys are all doing well today. Elliot here, and welcome back to The Fragrance Well. For today's video, we're going to talk about grown man fragrances. And when I say grown man fragrances, essentially what I mean is the vibe, the attitude, what maybe you might think of when you smell the fragrance. I think there are some fragrances that have a youthful vibe and those that have a more mature vibe. And today we're going to focus on the latter. Shout out to Dedrick Hicks. I actually got inspired to do this subject matter from a video he did on the same thing maybe 2 weeks ago or so. I just thought it was a really good video, and I said, you know what, I'm going to talk about that again. I'm sure I've talked about this before, but I got inspired to do it again. So that's what we're doing for today's video. I've got 8 fragrances here that I think are great grown man fragrances. And another special case for these fragrances is I think all of these work excellent for versatile usage, if you will. You can pretty much use them for just about anything. And also, let me go ahead and point out that even though I'm talking about grown man fragrances, this does not mean only what anyone might consider a grown man can wear them. There are plenty of older guys that wear more youthful, boyish, fun, outgoing fragrances, and they enjoy them just the same, and it works great for them. And younger guys who like fragrances that have a more mature vibe. Remember, you can always just wear what you want, but there is a vibe I think many people can associate based on their own experiences with fragrances, and that's what I've done with these. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. But before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, and hit that bell icon and enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, guys, we're going to kick it off with one from Orto Parisi, and that is going to be Bergamask. Orto Parisi, Bergamask. Now, Bergamask is a fresher fragrance, and in my opinion, fresh fragrances are really good at reaching a wide audience, if you will, because of their versatility. However, if you are going to take a fresh fragrance and call one youthful versus one that's not, I think the defining factor for that is what is accompanying the freshness. And for this one, it's kind of a heavy musk accord with a little bit of funk to it. It's a very aggressive citrus. I think more youthful citrus, or maybe one that will appeal to younger guys, is something that is not as aggressive when it comes to the citric element or the fresher element. Now this one is a play on bergamot and musk, and like I said, it is a funky musk, and it's a very kind of piercing, dominant bergamot. Fragrance overall doesn't really smell very authentic, but it plays on the idea of bergamot and musk being combined. I think there's some slightly woody elements to this as well, maybe something kind of playing on an aldehydic vibe, if you will. But in my opinion, this fragrance is very, very versatile, but it does kind of give off a grown man vibe. So once again, from Orto Parisi, we've got Bergamask. Next one's going to be coming from Narciso Rodriguez, and that's going to be Bleu Noir for him, Eau de Parfum. Narciso Rodriguez, Bleu Noir Eau de Parfum. Now, in my opinion, the Bleu Noir line is kind of Narciso Rodriguez's take on something like Bleu de Chanel. Not from a smell standpoint, but more so of a functionality and a vibe standpoint. Bleu de Chanel is very much one of the best blue fragrances on the market. Obviously, the sales dictate that, as well as its popularity. But it has a vibe that's very classy and a little bit more mature than, say, a Sauvage does. I think Bleu Noir is their own take on something like that, where it's a little bit more mature. But the stuff smells awesome. But I do think each iteration is a little bit different. I can't remember if I've smelled the EDT. If I have, it's been a while and I don't remember it. And the Parfum is more iris and suede, but still more of a mature scent. This one here is like fresh, but rich woods combining with musk. Relatively simple scent, combining a variety of woody facets, if you will, with a very nice, clean musk accord. I think the stuff smells absolutely amazing. I do think this is something that comes off a lot more mature than a lot of fragrances out there, and therefore that's why I put it into the grown man category, particularly if you want something that does kind of play on that blue fragrance style, if you will. Once again, from Narciso Rodriguez, this is Bleu Noir for him, Eau de Parfum. All right, guys, next one's going to be coming from Arabian Oud, and this one here is Arabian Knight. Arabian Oud, Arabian Knight. What great juice this is right here. Arabian Oud has a lot of offerings, and a lot of them could fit into a video like this. Just chose to go with this one. This one here is Lemongrass, cinnamon, rose, a little bit of an ambery, woody base, just a touch of sweetness. Stuff smells absolutely amazing. I do think this 100% kind of represents something a grown man might smell like, particularly if you can factor in that rose characteristic. I'm not saying younger guys don't wear rose, but typically guys a little bit older are more comfortable with rocking florals like that. That being said, this fragrance is probably more spicy, slightly sweet and woody than anything. The rose is there, but everything's kind of built around it rather than the rose standing out. Beyond all of that, the best part about this is it is extremely versatile. Very, very classy, but extremely versatile. So you can use it for just about anything, and you will definitely come off smelling like a grown man. There is no mistaking it with this scent. Once again, from Arabian Oud, this is Arabian Knight. All right, guys, next one's gonna be coming from Louis Vuitton, and this one here is Imagination. Louis Vuitton, Imagination. And you know what's great about this fragrance is it kind of functions like a blue fragrance, but doesn't really smell like one. Bergamot, ginger, Ceylon cinnamon, some tea notes in this, and a load of ambroxan. But it fits with the scent very well. It's not like an ambroxan bomb until it really kind of dries down. Then it kind of is. But man, stuff smells amazing. Also, I think there's a little bit of neroli in this to give kind of a soapy clean vibe to this fragrance. This is great just right here because honestly, you can wear this for anything and anybody can use it. But I do think the vibe of it comes off a little bit more mature. As I mentioned before, it does function like a blue fragrance, but it smells like something that is a little bit more mature than a lot of blue fragrances out there. If you're not counting like the Bleu de Chanel's or the Bleu Noirs of the world, I think there's more youthful plays on blue scents than there is mature ones. But all that is neither here nor there. There's nothing boyish or childish about the Imagination DNA. It just simply works and you will smell like a man who is about his business, in my opinion, if you rock this. Once again, from Louis Vuitton, this is Imagination. All right, moving on to one from Wilhelm Parfumerie. We've got Morning Chess. Wilhelm Parfumerie Morning Chess. So this one here, it's actually a pretty basic scent. It's bergamot, it's leather, it's green notes via galbanum, which is a plant resin, and it certainly smells that way. And then it's kind of this base of this dark amber woodiness, if you will. I simply love this stuff. It is simple but effective. Now it does, or should I say, some people like to say this smells somewhat like a Ventus. In my opinion, the bergamot that is used in here is similar to a Ventus, so that's what you can tie it in with. But you know, a Ventus is not known for being leathery or green, and that's where it differentiates quite a bit. So once you kind of get past that initial top note of blast of bergamot, if you will, you realize that this doesn't really smell that much like a Ventus. You could say it's inspired by it, but only slightly, in my opinion. All that being said, I think this fragrance definitely captures the essence of a grown man, and the versatility on this is unquestionable. You can absolutely use this for anything. You could wear it any time of year, but you will come off as a little bit more mature, but not dated with this fragrance choice. Once again, from Wilhelm Parfumerie, we have got Morning Chess. All right, guys, next one's gonna be coming from Mancera, and we've got Vetiver Sensuel here. Mancera Vetiver Sensuel. And you know what's great about Vetiver Sensuel? If any younger guy came up to me and said, hey, you know, I've been wearing fragrances, but I want to wear something that, you know, makes me smell a little bit more grown up, if you will, this will always be one of my first recommendations, because this stuff is just that good, and I think serves that purpose perfectly, really. So you've got a collection of citruses, kind of like a watery collection of citrus, almost like citrus infused water, a little bit of a minty vibe, and then the vetiver in this is clean and slightly floral, slightly grassy. It's not smoky, it's not too earthy. It is just perfect for that vetiver vibe if you want something that's easy to wear and smells mature. This stuff here, like I said, it's like just crossing that line from youthful fragrance, stepping over the line, you got mature. This is one of the first ones you can walk into, and it's just so easy to wear. That's why it's one of my top recommendations for that category. And even if you're not really just looking for something mature, so to speak, Vetiver Sensuel is just one of those ones that can always be a top recommendation if you want to step outside of the norm of what you'll find in most fragrances. So once again, from Mancera, this one here is Vetiver Sensuel. All right, guys, next one's gonna be coming from Hermes, and this one here is H24 Eau de Parfum. Hermes H24 Eau de Parfum. Now, in my opinion, if you're going for an Hermes fragrance, particularly the, well, I don't know if they got a name for them, but the men's releases that are kind of in that affordable designer realm, not the ones that you kind of have to go to a higher end store to smell or to see. I think all of those are classy and all of those have a more mature vibe to them. That's just the kind of fragrances that Hermes puts out. I don't think they do it on purpose. That's just their identity. That's the identity they have with their fragrances. Now, H24, in general, I do think kind of expanded their reach just a little bit while still keeping that, but reaching a wider audience than say a Terre de Hermes. And what's great about this, it is clean, it's fresh, it's a little bit green, it's got kind of a metallic tinge to it, but it doesn't smell like rusted pipes or anything like that. Stuff just smells amazing. It's got some kind of chemical in here that kind of acts like musk without really smelling like it. I think you can experience that with this scent because it just has this soft base to it. And I forget what that aroma chemical is. I might have it on the B-roll notes, but either way, you can look that up for yourself. But H24, the EDT didn't really appeal to me. This one corrected all I thought was kind of wrong with the EDT. I just thought that one was kind of flat, but there's fans of that one, there's fans of this one, there's fans of the newer one. I'm good with the EDP here. Point being is you want to come off a little more mature with something that is versatile. H24, one of those three will give you that, no questions asked. Once again from Hermes, this is H24 EDP. Alright guys, and the last one that's going to be in this video is coming from Brioni, and this is Brioni Eau de Parfum. Brioni Eau de Parfum. Now, I have not been fortunate enough to smell some of the other Brioni releases. I need to get my nose on them. I've just been slacking on that. But one thing I think I can tell even from just this one alone, and just looking at what the brand is, which they make high-end suits, their fragrances are meant to match what their suits offer. This fragrance certainly gives me that idea. Now, I'm not saying you have to wear a suit to wear this, but one thing's for sure, this fragrance is mature, it is classy, kind of has a little bit of a money smell, if you will. Now, this one here plays on violet. A little bit of a fruitiness, a crispness with apple, although I think the apple almost smells like an apple that's been cut up and allowed to oxidize, turns kind of brown, not rotten, just turns brown. I do think apples have a particular smell when that happens. I feel like that's what I get here. And loads of violet, as I already said, there's ozonic notes, got kind of a ozonic, slightly salty vibe to it. And then there's a good amount of musk and ambroxan in it as well. Just a clean, classy fragrance that plays on violet, and it doesn't smell dated, because I think some people may think violet heavy fragrances can smell a little bit dated. I don't think that's the case with this. They have taken violet and made it accessible to everyone in the modern day and age. And older guys and younger guys that like violet fragrances will like this a lot, in my opinion. But you will definitely come off smelling like a grown man with this scent. I don't think that's debatable. Once again, from Brioni, this one here is Brioni Eau de Parfum. Alright guys, that is going to do it for this video. That was 8 fragrances that I think will give you the grown man vibe with your fragrance choice. Let me know down in the comments below if you've got some fragrances within your collections that you think do the same thing for you. I would love to see what you guys have to say. Thanks again for watching all the way into the end. I really do appreciate you guys. Please remember to be well and smell well. And I'll see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.